What up? T-Bob here.
And Jake as well.
And look at you. You done stumbled upon little OTB Saints, where we bring you all the latest black and gold coverage.
Who are the Saints going to draft? Who's going to be their quarterback? What does the salary cap look like? All that information and more.
Hope you enjoy it. Like, subscribe. If you want to stay up to date with all the latest in New Orleans Saints coverage, you want to go with Nick and the team, Nick _Underhill on Twitter. Nicky, what's up, dude? How we feeling here on this Tuesday?
Doing great. How you guys doing?
Doing well ourselves. A little sad about the Hooters bankruptcy. Kind of taking it as a sign that we have degenerated as society. We have become so desensitized in this age of thirst traps and OnlyFans that just a little bit of cleavage no longer does it anymore. Sad state of affairs there, Nick.
I can honestly say I've never been in one. So I mean, I don't know what we've lost or gained, but
you never stepped foot into Hooters either casually or professionally?
No, I mean, it's just kind of like I feel like if I ended up there, it just means like a lot of things went wrong, and just not enough things that went wrong to lead me to the Hooters. So. There's usually like if it gets that bad, there's like an Applebee's or an Olive Garden. Like I'm just gonna stop there and
Olive Garden does slap.
I will say this. I mean, Olive Garden and Applebee's are great. I'll say this.
More of a Chili's man than Applebee's.
I think it's important in life sometimes to make a distinction between maliciousness and ignorance. And so I will forgive your ignorance in this case as forgive him, Father. He knows not what he says because
Fair.
Hooters wings are awesome. And when the Hooters vibe is right, it's an American institution, okay? Or at least it was.
See, maybe that's where we differ because, like, I grew up near Buffalo, so, like, I know what a real wing is, and, like, I know what these, like, bullshit wings are that they have.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, to be fair, I should clarify my statement in that I know what I'm eating is, like, overly breaded and overly fried, but it doesn't make it not delicious. Like, it's just basically a big, hugely breaded fried chicken wing just with like buffalo sauce on it, which I don't know. It tastes great to me, dude. So you're not, I mean, because buffalo wings from Buffalo are not breaded, correct?
No.
Yeah.
No, they're grilled and deep fried, and you can get them on the pit. Like there's different ways, but yeah, no, they're definitely not. It's not a mini KFC bite.
Yes, exactly. Which Hooters is. So it is something different, and I enjoy it nonetheless. Enjoyed, past tense. Rest in peace. Nick, we are here a couple of weeks into the Kellen Moore era. Some hires being made, both coordinators. You also got a defensive passing game coordinator in Terry Joseph starting to chip away at the cap. So there's a lot going on. So as a dog looking at all of these tennis balls, what are you most interested in right now? What are you really chewing on?
Oh my God!
Hooters, wings.
What is wrong? What is wrong with you, man? Like what a transition there. Which ball am I chewing on?
That's true. I didn't even think about that. My bad. That's on me.
I think right now I'm kind of most interested in the defense a little bit because we've been talking about the offense for the last 6 weeks and Kellen Moore kind of specifically. So yeah, I mean, look, the idea of Brandon Staley I think is kind of interesting. Like we're gonna find out. At one point in time, this was like he was regarded as like the young genius of the league on defense. And, I think when you kind of watch his defense and the scheme and all the stuff they're trying to do, like I do wonder if you take out kind of the other responsibilities and allow him just to focus on making sure like the players can execute everything he's asking them to do. I do wonder if it'll be a lot better. Like maybe he's someone like DA who's a good defensive coordinator, just not a great head coach. And you kind of see in that role, kind of the way that defense is designed, kind of at least just based on my initial look, it kind of looks like they play like a gap and a half scheme up front, which, kind of puts some responsibility on your defensive linemen to just kind of always have their eyes in the right place. And there's a lot of responsibility on them. And I think they have to be trained to see the field the right way and make the right decisions in that. And then, they kind of do some pattern match in the back end, which again is your players kind of making decisions and having having to read the field the right way and all that. And it's just a lot of moving parts. There's an answer to everything kind of built in. It seems like when their defense is running right, that they should never be, you should never be able to just kind of like hit them in a gap and get an explosive run, or you shouldn't, have the coverage break because, they ran a man beater, whatever it is. Like they should have an answer for everything in real time. And I do wonder if, like, when you're coaching everything, trying to teach that much intricacy within a scheme, I do wonder if it becomes difficult, and maybe taking that off allows him to be a little bit better. But I kind of like the idea of a lot of the stuff they're doing, and it's hard not to. I mean, Vic Fangio has been one of the best defensive coordinators in the league forever, and he's a disciple. It's just a matter of, is he the right guy to execute it? At one point in time, he was. I kind of feel bad for Brandon Staley a little bit because he ended up being a 500 coach overall, and I was shocked to see that. Like, when I looked up his record, just kind of the way we talked about him for years, it kind of felt like, like it was going to be like BA Oakland, and it wasn't. They made the playoffs once. Like, I think it was just like a lot of the gaps with him were, clock management, in-game decisions.
The fall came very quickly, right? I mean, they were 10-7, but then it goes into the playoff debacle into 5-9 or whatever it was, and that was all she wrote. Like it kind of came out of nowhere. Like when it ended fast.
The worst thing that ever happened to him is he ended up with the quarterback that's the darling of the internet, and they didn't win enough games. Like, if he had just done what he was doing somewhere else, like, it probably would have been fine. It doesn't help that Sean Payton quit his job and was like breathing down his neck, like while they're in the playoffs, and it's like, oh man, they lost. Sean's going to get that job, and like they decided to keep him and didn't start out great, and things kind of went in the tank. I will say, like, his defense wasn't good enough there. Like, if you're going to be a defensive head coach and you get hired to a job and you're 500 and the GM can look in your 16th in defense or whatever, that's not good enough. I mean, it was kind of the same thing with BA here at the end. Like, okay, fine, like the team's not great, you're kind of hovering around 500, but like your defense kind of sucks. Like that isn't going to be the thing that saves you, and that needs to be on point. So there's a lot of stuff that needs to be better, and I'm by no means convinced that this is the perfect answer or the right answer, but I'm open to the idea of it. Like, I think there's a possibility, and I think it's worth finding out. I mean, just if it's not the right thing, like, hopefully they have a head coach who's willing to move on quickly and fix mistakes. But man, it really does feel like they're putting together like a pretty good staff. Like Terry Joseph, he's going to be the pass game coordinator on defense. Like, you look at the development of the defensive backs at Texas, they were like 150th in like pass defense efficiency when he got there, and they finished second last year. Like year by year, they got better. And I think with where the Saints are at, like, player development is probably even more important than anything, because I think you do have to start over on that side of the ball. Like, you got to get rid of all these old guys. You need to kind of replace everyone. If you go through the defense and say, like, who's going to be there in 26, there's like two names that I think you can like absolutely include, maybe three, and then beyond that, it gets kind of tough. So if you're trying to replace 8, 9, 10, build depth, I mean, you gotta bring in cheap players and be able to develop them. So I think, like, more than anything on defense, like, I think player development is paramount. So, like, I think he's a good asset in that regard. But yeah, I mean, I like the idea of where it's going. We'll see how the rest of it fills out. We're out at the combine right now, so like hopefully by the end of the week we have a few more names we hear to put on that list. So yeah, I think I'm fascinated to see where it goes. Like, I'm fascinated by the idea of the staff overall, but like I don't. There's still big questions, I think, that need to be answered.
Wow, just amazing black and gold takes right there, Jake.
I don't think I've ever heard any takes that are better than the two guys that just gave you that take.
And you can keep getting them by going ahead and liking, subscribing, ringing the bell to get notifications when we post. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next OTB Saints.